Hello and welcome back to Assetto Corsa. Thank you very much for joining me in this video, and today we're going to be looking at the first of the bonus pack 3 cars, the Lamborghini Huracan Performante, or at least I hope that's how it's pronounced. Most likely it's not. It's the Huracan Performance edition, one of the variants of the Lamborghini Huracan, which is interesting because I think the car only came out in 2015. It came out in 2015 and there's been so many different variants of this car, but we are going to be looking at this one, which is included in the bonus pack 3. Before I continue, I'd like to say that yes, I do have head tracking back on. As you can see, it's going to be a little bit wobbly, so do please bear with me. It's going to take me a few weeks to get back into it and get it set up correctly, but at least it allows me to look around a little bit better, which you guys should be able to enjoy a lot more. And obviously you'll probably notice if you clicked on this video, I've got new thumbnails, so do let me know in the comments box below if you like the new thumbnails, and you know, thumbs up for it. If you're on Twitch, thumbs up. If you're on YouTube, the like button, which of course is a thumbs up as well. But anyway, let's get back to this car. This is a V10 5.2 litre V10 engine producing 640 horsepower at 8,000 RPM, which is I think something like 36 up or something from, was it 30 up? Something like that. It's an increase from the standard engine from the Huracan, and maximum torque is 443 foot-pounds of torque, or 600 Newton meters at 6,500 RPM, which is really nice. It's a really nice engine. It's got a great power band. Honestly, I do like the power band on this engine. It just pulls and pulls and pulls. It feels really great. One of the best parts about this car, I think, straight out, is the engine, and definitely in Assetto Corsa you can feel that. It's all connected to a four-wheel drive system, or all-wheel drive system should I say, with a dual clutch gearbox, which is Lamborghini's LDS system, with 7 gears and reverse, of course. Not that I use reverse in this video at all, but I think I use all 7 gears in the video at some point. So yeah, it does have a very nice gearbox. The shifts on the gearbox again are absolutely seamless. It's really well done. Feels a little bit like the Audi R8 gearboxes. Very sporty, very quick shifts. It did have a similar sort of feel, but I suppose being from the same family it would be similar. Top speed is just over 201 miles an hour, with 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, or 0 to 62 in 2.9 seconds, and 0 to 124 in 8.9 seconds. Braking distances is 31 meters from 62 to 0. I'm getting all this information off the Lamborghini site. The chassis is hybrid aluminium carbon fiber with aluminium and synthetic material body. The aerodynamics is quite interesting on this. We've got the front and rear spoilers in visible forged composites with active aerodynamic systems called the ALA, which I think means the Aerodynamica Lamborghini Attiva, which I assume means active Lamborghini aerodynamics. Just sorting that out in the correct order for standard English. The wheels on this car are 20 inches and the tyres are 245/30 R20s on the front and 305/30 R20s on the rear. Any other information I suppose you need to know about this car? Well, it does have dynamic steering as an option, which I think is in this variant. I'll be talking about why I think it's in this variant in a few moments. And it does have, of course, it comes with all the electronic stability protection, or your electronic stability control, your ABS and your traction control system. I have switched traction control systems off in this video because I prefer driving without traction control, but you know, it is there, it's available to use. What else is there that I need to talk about? Oh yeah, I suppose the weight of the car would be kind of helpful. I think it weighs something like just shy of 1,400 kilograms. I think 1,382 kilograms or something is the dry weight, which is just over 3,000 pounds, 3,050 pounds or thereabouts. So it's actually a fairly heavy car. Even though they've shed about 40 or 50 kilos off the weight of the standard Huracan, it's still a fairly heavy car, which is kind of surprising. But that brings me in quite nicely to what it's like in Assetto Corsa. We'll do modelling, texturing, sounds and physics. We'll quickly go through the modelling and texturing. It's a Kuno's car, so obviously it's going to be completely accurate. That moment right there was quite fun. It's going to be completely accurate, as they always do. Texturing is where sometimes they've lacked on. I'm happy to say they haven't lacked over here. Everything looks really high quality. Everything looks proper, everything looks great, and even the textures that I don't like, for example, if you look on the vents, there's this weird, it almost looks like marble or black granite or something. It's really odd, but I don't like those textures, but they've managed to model that, they managed to texture that, sorry, absolutely correctly. And it comes with a whole bunch of colors. Obviously I'm driving it in this blue, but it comes with a whole bunch of colors, which is really, really well done. The dashboard as well, a little bit overwhelming, but there's plenty of information there. Gear, tachometer, G-force indicator, rev, you know, it even tells you where you need to change revs, or change gear, sorry. You've got your light indicator there, your fuel information. You've got a whole bunch of information right there, which is, I think it's a little bit much, but that's how Lamborghini do things. So, you know, that's how it's like in Assetto Corsa. No complaints there with the texturing. I think they've done a really, really great job here, and like I said, their modeling is always absolutely fine. Moving on to sounds, it does have a V10 engine, like I said, which means that the sounds of the car, it's actually really, really good. It sounds like a Lamborghini. It's a little bit, there's a little bit of sound deadening inside the cabin, as you would expect, some sound isolation, so it doesn't sound as brilliant inside the cabin, but it still feels like a V10 and sounds like a V10, and especially from the outside, it really does sound very, very good from the outside. Lamborghini have this very specific tone that I haven't heard on any other cars, but I hear it on all Lamborghinis now, especially in the Assetto Corsa. Every single Lamborghini has this very, very similar tone to it, regardless of what engine it's got in it. It just has this very, very similar tone. I'm glad to say that this one has the same, so you can just tell by the sound that it is a Lamborghini engine in there, which is absolutely fantastic. And given that this engine is one of the best engines that I have driven, or that I've had strapped to a car, I think it's really nice that the sounds are pretty much spot on. Again, that little bit of bass missing at the bottom, but I don't think there's anything they can do with the current sound engine. That brings me on, last but not least, to physics. The car was really, really nice to drive. In a straight line, it's pretty good. I would say it felt just a tiny bit sluggish, at the lower ranges, but then once it was up to speed, it was really, really nice. Going around corners, it grips very, very well. I do have to say there's a word of warning here, is that the brakes, when your tires are cold, the brakes just don't feel that effective. It felt like I was getting very close to locking up, and that's why I left ABS on. I felt like I was getting very, very close to locking up quite often, but once the tires are up to temperature, the brakes really, really managed to slow the car down very, very well. Although you're going to see a mistake here, which I can explain now. Either the dynamic steering, one thing is the dynamic steering, I think it might have caught me off guard, but I'm not too sure whether it was the dynamic steering or just me going into the corner too hot and not being used to driving a four-wheel drive supercar like this one, where obviously you've got understeer, and you can see the understeer through pretty much many of the corners. As soon as I go off camber or something, the understeer does really push the car outwards, so that's something you do have to be a little bit aware of. Easy fix for that is throw the car into the corner a little bit more aggressively, which is something I wasn't doing, but something I probably should do, and I will be doing should I drive this car again. So I'll just drive it in a lot more aggressively than I do normally. So that, I think that is going to really do the trick there and sort out that issue of the understeer. Overall though, the car is really, really good to drive, and it does show that it's one of those record-beating cars, because I believe it's got the fastest time on the Nurburgring Nordschleife now, ahead of the 918 Spider. And think the 918 Spider has got over 900 bhp. It's got electronic hybrid systems to cut out for the torque. It's got turbochargers and whatnot. This is just naturally aspirated, no hybrid systems of any sort. It's just a V10 engine strapped to a fantastically designed aerodynamic car, and I think it's really, really well done. Typical Lamborghini style. I think it's more for taking photos and driving and enjoying the drive as opposed to lap times, but it does show that Lamborghini can, if they really want to, put the lap times on the board, and they have done so with this car, which I think is really, really nice. So well done to Lamborghini there, and well done to Kunos for giving us a very, very accurate representation of this. I felt like I was driving a V10 Lamborghini, and you know, it felt like a Lamborghini. The amount of Lamborghinis I've driven in different sims, but also in Assetto Corsa, you can tell that this was a Lamborghini. So that's where I'm going to end it, and you're going to see I'll have a bit of a look around the cabin for you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos on Assetto Corsa, leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think. If you're watching this on Twitch, still comment, thumbs up, I would really appreciate that, and a follow. And if you can, please do support me on Patreon. Link to that is in the description box below. Your support would be massively, massively appreciated. It would mean a lot to me. So yeah, please do that. Thank you very much once again, and I will see you guys next time in Assetto Corsa.